It was a normal Monday morning when Edward Miller realized his week had already gone wrong. He spilled coffee on his shirt, missed his bus, and arrived late to the office meeting. The manager's tone was sharp. Deadlines whispered like thunder behind his back. By noon, he felt his heart racing as if he were trapped inside a small, noisy cage. All he wanted was silence. During lunch, his colleague, Maya, sat beside him. She chewed quietly, noticing Edward's clenched jaw and tapping foot. "Rough morning?" she asked. He laughed bitterly. "I think every morning is rough. The world just keeps getting louder." Maya nodded. "I know that feeling. You should meet someone who helped me when I felt like that, Mr. Harris. He's a retired teacher who spends mornings by the city lake. He's not a therapist, just .com. You'll see." Edward didn't believe in quick solutions, but that evening, when work felt unbearable again, he walked toward the lake anyway. The air smelled of damp leaves and water. Waves brushed softly against stone steps. There, on a wooden bench, sat an old man reading a weathered book. "Mr. Harris." The man looked up and smiled. "I suppose I am. You must be the busy one I was expecting." Edward sat down awkwardly. "Maya told you I was coming. She said you needed a quiet conversation." "So what storm are you carrying today?" Edward hesitated, then poured his thoughts out. Deadlines, arguments, constant noise, lack of control. When he finished, the older man didn't offer advice. He simply asked, "Have you ever watched ducks in rough water?" Edward blinked, confused. "Ducks, yes. Ever notice how they float, even when the waves rise?" He pointed toward the lake where a few ducks bobbed gently. "Look at them. The surface tosses them around, but underneath, they keep paddling slowly. Calm isn't about stillness, it's steady motion under pressure." Edward watched the ducks glide, oddly fascinated. "But how do they do that without panicking?" Mr. Harris chuckled. "Because they don't fight the water, they work with it." He picked up a small pebble and tossed it across the lake. "See? Those ripples? When life throws stones, you can either chase the ripple or wait for the circle to widen and disappear. Either way, the water settles." For the first time all week, Edward felt his shoulders drop. The noise inside him began to fade. The following morning, traffic was terrible again. Emails piled up before he finished his coffee. But this time he took a slow breath before reacting. He imagined ducks gliding and ripples calming. Instead of replying to an angry message straight away, he wrote his response and waited 10 minutes before sending it. When he reread it, the tone had softened. His coworker replied with a surprising "thank you for understanding." That evening, he went back to the lake. Mr. Harris smiled. "So how did your day go, young man?" Edward grinned slightly. "Same chaos. I just didn't join it." They both laughed. The old man closed his book. "You see, peace isn't found in the absence of noise. It's grown inside you when you no longer depend on silence to feel okay." He paused and added, "The trick is noticing what you can control: your breath, your voice, your and letting go of the rest." Over the next weeks, Edward practiced small changes. He left home 10 minutes earlier, greeted people slowly instead of rushing, and reminded himself of those calming ripples whenever tension rose. At first, nothing seemed dramatic, but gradually, people began to notice. "You look relaxed," a colleague said one afternoon. "Did you take a vacation?" He smiled. "No, just fewer arguments in my head." Even his manager began trusting him with the busiest projects because he no longer panicked under pressure. Everyone else's stress bounced off him like rain on glass. One day, a sudden systems crashed through the entire office into chaos. Computers froze, deadlines crashed, phones rang endlessly, the manager shouted. Instructions confused. People arguing. Edward stood quietly. He took a deep breath, gathered his small team, and spoke slowly. "Let's handle what we can, one step at a time. We'll fix the urgent parts first." His calm voice anchored the room. Tasks were divided. Iswa's soul-bed panic turned into pace. By noon, the system was back online. Afterward, The manager leaned on his desk and said, "I've never seen you lose your cool. What's your secret?" Edward smiled. "It's not a secret. It's a lake and a few ducks." That evening, he went back to the lake to thank his quiet teacher. Mr. Harris was feeding birds, the same constancy in his movements as always. Edward told him about the crisis and how calm changed everything. The old man chuckled, handing him a handful of seeds. "Then you've learned a small truth. The world outside you is mostly wild water. Your mind decides whether you drown in it or flow with it." They stood watching the sunset paint ripples gold. Nothing around them grew quieter, but everything inside felt peaceful. Staying calm doesn't mean ignoring chaos. It means carrying stillness wherever you go. Even storms respect those who move gently. If this story brought you peace, please like the video, share it with someone who needs calm today, and tell us in the comments what helps you stay steady. For more soothing fables about everyday wisdom, subscribe to the Weiss Tallies, where every story reminds you that peace begins within.